Welcome, tree huggers, bards, poets and earthcare people. Welcome to Woodland Barding Weekly number 3. We've got a glorious spring-like day today, so I'm outside. I'm actually working on the raised beds, clearing that up, and I'm actually finding some carrots and parsnips and things that are a nicer price, some food for tonight at least. Now in this edition I'm going to go back in time a bit, and we're going to revisit into County Leitrim, into the Milltown woods there, the beautiful Milltown woods, and we'll be featuring poetry from Stephen Murphy and B. Smith. I'm going to throw a poem of my own in, hopefully, at some point. I'll also take you for a bit of a walk around what's happening here and things that I'm doing, because with this beautiful spring day, there's a whole new zest to be out here and bring this, well, it brings itself to life, but to actually enjoy participating in the life here and rearranging things and the enthusiasm and excitement of people that's going to be visit. So enjoy this edition, and I'll go off and edit some more for you. See you later. This week's Bards in the Woods feature is at Milltown Woods. That's just northwest of Hamilton in County Leitrim. It's one of my own favourite woodlands for our Bards in the Woods meetups. You may recognise this woodland as being the site of the Johnny Lawson 8-hour meditation and sleep aid video that you'll find on YouTube. I believe that this has had over 15 million views. In this edition we feature poems from B. Smith, Tony Cookson, myself, and the world famous and the favourite of Ireland's President Higgins, Stephen Murphy, who President Higgins describes as a courageous poet, and soon you'll hear why. So first up is B.
Glossing the Junior Dictionary. Outside my window, words like atoms dance. Outside are living things defined by the Oxford University Press, no less, expunged as being irrelevant to modern childhood. I look out, and the pasture disappears. Buttercups supping underneath the melting snow. The willow catkins tickling a bee's chin never will arrive this spring, nor their nectar. What use the fun of conker or acorn? Do away with dandelion's sun. Poison the price of a pretty lawn. How yawn-making a woodland walk must be among the ash, hazel, and beech trees. Ivy-clad trunks and limbs. An honor guard to the bluebell dell. The weather lore of heron flying inland, gone, along with kissing under mistletoe. Who will remember that cygnet is what you call a swan's awkward offspring? All lost to the lexicon of childhood. A glossary from the latest edition gracing school bookshelves. Celebrity, chat room, bullet point, cut and paste. Definition for a 21st century child's proper preoccupations. Blog your nameless panic at worlds unmet. Block graph that. So all of those trees
These are the clouds. These are the clouds about the fallen sun that shut the majesty of the burning eye. The weak hold on to what the strong have done until all at its tumble that was lifted high, and all fall into disharmony. So, friends, if thy great race were run, and you were to companion your greatness, even though it would be for children that you sigh. These are the clouds about the fallen sun, the majesty, the clouds, the burning eye. These are the clouds about the fallen sun, the majesty that shuts your burning eye. Thank you.
Yeah, an email from Dog to Man. It says, "Hey man, how you doing? I was chewing on your shoe but getting pretty bored, so I thought I'd write to show you how much you're adored. I was going to use the pen to be like Beckett, Joyce or Dunn, till suddenly it struck me that I don't have any thumbs. So I hope it doesn't scare you that I've taught myself to type. I learned how to read through the blogs people write. Please try to forgive me if my grammar is shite, but I've no preconceptions about what's wrong or what's right. But see, I've known you a long time now and I've analysed you closely. And this life that you've been living is a parasitic parody that feeds upon the blood of self-fulfilling tragedy, where days and weeks meet months and years with vague familiarity, but never are your boundaries pushed to be the best that self can be. Just don't turn around in years from now and say that you remember me as when all you've ever seen me as is lucid domesticity, and only in your darkest moments look to find the light in me. Look, I'm not trying to sound harsh, I'm just speaking my mind. I'd be everything you are if I knew how to lie. See, a world is my life, man, and if you asked me to die, I'd push back my ears and I'd politely comply. But I have watched and loved, watched and hated, watched and integrated hate with love as easily as innocence is obliterated. I have heard you screaming out the names whose overdose in pleasure brought you pain. And I have listened, as patiently as the wives of war victims pacing hospital corridors listened to the horrors that man brings upon man. Yet still you rather the cat, because he looks after himself, steals ham off the table and cheese off the shelf. There's no codependence, it's each their own. If your world fell apart, he'd just lick his own hole. I just think you should know. He's been plotting your death ever since that last ill-fated trip to the vets. Though looks are deceiving, he's completely insane, he's got no sense of reason and he's numbered your days. Well, you see, sometimes I wish I could talk, or bring you for a walk in a lead so you can see how it feels to be me. Because if I could talk, I too would blame astrology, or clinical psychology, or religious ideologies, or pharmaceutical dichotomies for everything that's wrong with me. But in reality, I'm an animal who was born and who will die, happy in the knowledge that I have lived and loved my time. So if you get this, and I hope that you do, I just wanted you to know that I'm sorry about your shoe. But don't be worrying about me. There's no need to reply. You just talk that bit louder and I'll be here by your side.
Thank you.
How did Lazarus' wife feel when her husband came back from his very dramatic second act? Would he seamlessly pick up all the old reflexes, the same routine, dinner with his mother every Friday night, Saturday night sex, or would he have visions of something other? Would he just drop his winding sheet and suddenly want to buy a Porsche? Would he demand a divorce? Become a hippie? A zealot? Or do nothing at all? A life, replete. Not needing a different wife or a different life. But still, when you have been resurrected, either to amuse Jesus or serve some opaque higher purpose, when your life has turned into parable, people will scream and stare. They faint. Your debtors despair, and your creditors stop gnashing their teeth. But mostly, they want you to tell them what it's like to die. But Lazarus, all he wants to talk about is being alive. He grows vague about the dying. He disappoints with no tale of angels or gorgons. Although sometimes into my pillow, he will mention the night train to Edinburgh. All darkness and motion, with a sudden flash. When you pause at a level crossing, There was a clang and a lurch forward, and he looked out through a rain-splashed window. It was that mundane. It was that sublime. Although for him, this time, they managed to clear the leaves off the line. He reached the station, but it was not a terminus. All change.
This is Lucia Rowan from Omer's Tale of the Trees from the Bathing in the Fae's Breath. Omer was walking through a banqueting hall when an air of sweet harp music lulled him away from his senses. And when he awoke, a branch of rowan was beside him with white blossoms on it. Later, he was attending court and took the branch of rowan that he placed into a gathering fire, and the fragrance of the blossom entered the lungs of the blood of the hearts of all men present. And from that gathering fire, a beautiful woman appeared and radiantly poured light upon them all. Gently she spoke, as white bronze formed beneath her feet, and the court of today's warriors and tomorrow's heroes became a home of kindness towards her. And there, a tall rowan tree that had always been barren filled its branches with flowers. And on these branches the birds gathered and shared their melody that was infectious. The warriors became enchanted by the chants of the women around them, in harmony with the strings of harps woven onto the boughs of rowan branches, releasing sounds wafted from cauldrons of willow that were attached to the boughs of rowan, strung together with bronze. Within the circle of men in court there's now no grief, no gripe, no treason. Away is the favoured haunt of pleasure. No taunt, no threat, no malediction when the sweet music embraces their ears. There's no vision of death, no mourning, no sorrow, instead strength, passion and wisdom, embracing all horned feelings within the court circle. Inspiring wonder where there once was comparison, tolerance where there once was challenge, clear vision where once was mist. And as a dragon's fire ignites in every heart, and every dragon's tail is always umbilically connected to the heart of this one beautiful woman in the gathering fire. The same beautiful woman that resides, courts and judges at the point where our two worlds meet. So there we were, after the sun had set, drinking the finest of wines, and horses of gold ran around us, so we feel our abundance. Horses of purple ran around us, so we feel our pride, as if we are royal. Horses of blue ran around us, so we feel our courage and not be restricted by the boundaries of concern for distance and time. Then, into the dawn of a new day, the pure man from the bed of the Morrigu, the pure man whose darkness is shed, with a voice that's no longer of grief, of slavery, of mourning, but of pure voice from the woman of the Rowan. The woman of the Rowan who urged Omer to make a ship from her branches, to journey west and always, always be in a land of joy. Now it's not to every man that this offer is made by her, and so Omer's journey in the Rowan boat and hoisted sails of sallies became another of Omer's Tale of the Trees.
It's called After the Tiger. Yeah, it's about to collapse of the Celtic tiger, obviously. But here the rushing waters meet to wash the weary mountain's feet, where everyone will stop to greet the stranger passing in the street. Although they may be friend or foe, to know they must acknowledge so that passing time can soon decree the mind's compatibility. I came across the wooden bridge as I approached the yellow ridge, whose civil folk I duly found and captured by their hollow ground. To many places man must go, from faceless streets to empty roads, through inner journeys of the soul in stifling heat and bitter cold. If travelling but by the self, those learning shall inherit wealth, who need not false modernities to cradle insecurities, who fears but they be feared may find the secrets of the human mind, exposed in fields of fertile bliss, where spring has washed and summer kissed. He whose vision of this land in passing left the deftest hand upon the shoulders passion felt in those who prayed in whom so knelt, not at the covered altar there, but long before in open air, whose heavens needed not a roof to convalesce in their reproof, whose ocean in the distance roared, I'll comfort all who dare adore, so dare they did, and there the gates stood open for the mind's embrace. I come in sadness to reply, the man ignored his battle cry, whose life but now computered mind has changed the face of humankind. Of Ireland's old the remnants few still walk to smell the honeydew. Before the break of morning comes through concrete fields of damage done, we sacrifice this mortal curse, our peace of mind for fattened purse, whose Eden governed by the snake has hissed and cried, the West's awake, allowing Adam and fair Eve to profligate at which they please, and said, live life at liberty, look not for what the future sees, but bask in these prosperities. By our consent, the corporate shift came on the North Atlantic drift, with plastic gods of chip and pin that gave to all who wanted in, who never had before nor then, but thus emboldened could pretend that never would they starve again, a fate that fell on greater men. Now silently they flock once more, the swallows perch to leave the shore, yet theirs is not a spring return, for many seasons shall in turn pass longingly, without the song of generations come and gone. Upon his grave I lay my word, a gift unto the modern world. Here he lies where horsemen pass at speed on roads where once lay grass. Their pockets laden seek to buy the memoirs of this poet's life, whose Anglo-Irish politics survived impassioned rhetoric. Behold a fascist, to us all who walk this rocky rolling ball, preserving moments with machines to capture loss of memories. Now find the peasantry reborn in wealthy earth is left forlorn. We do not own our lives, but owe until the winds of death have blown. Under bare Ben Bulben's gaze, the church majestic stands unfazed. Though Yeats in flesh has long decayed, his spirit in the mountains stayed. Outside the gates has stood to see the fall of free society, where young and old must pay to breathe this air of ancient Irishry. Cast a close eye on mind, on breath, merchant, pass by.
I'll finish off with a bit of the new labyrinths that we've got here. This is the herbal labyrinth, fairly traditional spiral labyrinth, except to have great fun doing this ziggy-zaggy entrance until you actually get into the spiral. I'll be talking more about the spiral labyrinth in a future Woodland Barding Weekly, and especially when there's more herbs put in. There's a lot more stones. There's a lot more work on this, as you can see, but it gives the shape and the essence of what we have here. There's a lot of debris here, and you might be able to see a bit of a pathway there, but that pathway is too steep. So I'm actually going to be taking mounds of composty stuff and building that up to be the same level as the labyrinth, so people can actually walk up it with ease without having to actually go up a kind of a stepway. Here's the triple spiral labyrinth, which is up at the top. This is why I need the pathway to connect the bottom to the top here. Again, I'm going to have to do a lovely fuller feature for you on this. Hello again. Thank you for watching Woodland Barding Weekly. This is the 3rd edition. Please subscribe on the box over there. Any donations will help us pay for the Bards in the Woods expenses, the Labyrinth Gardens expenses here, and maybe eventually a bit of gear to improve making these videos. Right now I've got to go off and start producing Woodland Barding Weekly number 4. Thank you very much. See you again soon. Oh, and if you would like to be interviewed on Woodland Barding Weekly, please contact me, john@woodlandbard.com, john@woodlandbard.com. It'd be lovely to have other voices on these videos. Meanwhile, I wish you a blessed week ahead and enjoy your barding, your woodland walks and your times with nature. I'll be seeing you soon. Bye.